You're gonna die. And most of you, you'll die unknown. No legacy, no glory, no respect. Just a name people forget the second you're gone. And you had the chance, but you were too scared to risk. This world rewards the bold, so either take the risk or vanish like you were never even here. Is it that the world doesn't want to admit you're not falling behind because you're incapable? You're falling behind because you keep playing life like it's a practice round. You think there's going to be some second opportunity to get serious, as if life is going to tap you on the shoulder one day and politely say, "Sir, it's your time to win now." That's the lie. There is no perfect moment. There's no round two. The truth is, you take the risk or you get forgotten. That's it. Those are your options. Not a motivational quote, not a fairy tale ending, a brutal reality check. And I get it. You're scared to fail, scared to look stupid, scared to lose money, time, energy, scared to fall on your face. But what you don't realize is that every second you hesitate, you're already losing. Not in the big dramatic ways, no alarms go off, no crowd is booing, you just rot quietly. Every dream you delay becomes more distant. Every day you stay still, another man out there risks everything, makes a move, gets sharper, becomes more dangerous. And before you even realize that the gap between you and him is no longer skill, no longer talent, it's simply that he had the balls to move when you didn't. Take the risk or be forgotten. That's not poetry. That's war strategy. The world remembers the man who showed up when it was hard, the one who stared at uncertainty and said, "I'll take my chances." The man who gambled it all and came back bloodied, but sharper, smarter, hungrier. He gets written into history. You, playing it safe, you get erased. One quiet regret at a time. You're not tired. You're untested. You're not broken. You're bored. You're not out of options. You've just built a lifestyle where risk looks like death and safety feels like purpose. But guess what? That comfort you're clinging to, it's the slowest form of suicide. It drains you silently, gently rocking you into mediocrity while selling you the illusion of peace. You think you're surviving, but really you're surrendering. You say you want change. You say you're hungry, but then you spend your time reading motivational nonsense, hoping for a spark, hoping for the courage to move. Here's the real motivation. Nobody's coming to save you. There is no cavalry, no mentor, no secret shortcut, just you. You are the rescue mission. You are the only one who can flip that switch. And the only path forward is paved in risk, discomfort, and decisions that will terrify the version of you that's sitting here waiting. And I know what you're thinking. What if I try and fail? Good. Then you'll be a man who knows what failure feels like. That's a hell of a lot better than being the man who never even tried. Because if you fail, you learn. If you fail, you grow. If you fail, you fight again, but stronger. But if you sit still, if you wait, you become invisible. You become nobody. You get forgotten by the world, and worse, by yourself. You see, taking the risk isn't just about chasing some money, some car, some lifestyle. It's about earning your own respect. Looking in the mirror and seeing a warrior, not a spectator. It's about knowing deep in your bones that you're alive because you chose to be, not because the world handed it to you. And I promise you this, once you risk it, once you jump into the fire and survive, even if barely, you become untouchable. Not because you have more than others, but because you did more than others were ever willing to. You dared, you endured, you evolved. So burn the backup plan, cut the safety net, silence the fear, because nothing is more expensive than the life you could have lived. The price of hesitation is legacy. The price of safety is obscurity. If you don't move now, if you don't jump now, you will look back one day and realize the worst pain wasn't the times you failed. It was the times you were too scared to even try. So this is it. This is the wake-up slap. This is the moment you decide. You either take the risk or you get erased. One move, one choice, one leap. Be remembered or be forgotten. I remember a time I sat in a room with 4 walls closing in, broke, tired, and invisible to the world. I had nothing. No spotlight, no applause. Just me and the silence that kept asking, are you going to die here? Or are you going to do something that forces the world to know your name? And the irony is, back then, the biggest weight on my shoulders wasn't poverty. It was the comfort of excuses, the seductive lullaby of maybe tomorrow. Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe it's too risky. But deep inside, I knew the truth. Tomorrow was a lie I kept feeding myself to avoid the terrifying reality that if I didn't move now, I'd disappear forever. One night, I sat in my cheap apartment, staring at a flickering bulb overhead and a cracked mirror on the wall. I looked myself dead in the eye and asked, is this who you are? A man who waits, a man who plays it safe? And for a second, I wanted to lie to myself again, tell myself that things would change with time. But I'd heard that lie enough. That night, something snapped. Not in anger, not in despair, but in clarity. I realized that no one was coming. No secret opportunity, no magic offer, no miracle phone call. The only way I was getting out of that hellhole was by risking everything I had left, even if that meant failing in front of the whole damn world. And so I moved. I took the little money I had and put it on the line. I said yes to things I didn't feel ready for. I stepped into rooms where I didn't belong, spoke when my voice shook, stood tall when I was surrounded by giants. And I'll be honest, it didn't work immediately. I fell. I was humiliated. I made mistakes that cost me more than I thought I could handle. But do you know it's worse than failing? Watching your life become a rerun of safe choices and small dreams. That's death in disguise. That's slow motion regret. But every time I risked something, every time I gambled on myself, I bled, but I grew. I suffered, but I sharpened. There's a version of me that could have stayed quiet, that could have worked some stable job, kept his head down, avoided judgment, never chased impact, never made enemies, never made history. He would have lived a long, quiet, average life. But let me tell you something. That version of me disgusts me. That version dies nameless. That version gets buried under forgotten dreams and unrealized potential. I chose a different road, one littered with pain, rejection, uncertainty, but laced with glory. I chose to risk being ridiculed in order to be remembered. I chose discomfort over mediocrity, pressure over peace. Why? Because the world doesn't reward the cautious. It remembers the courageous. You think the story doesn't matter, that no one's watching, that there's no point in trying? That's what I thought too, until the day I risked it all and everything changed. The world didn't hand me success. It tested me. It threw me in the pit and watched to see if I'd crawl out or crumble. And I crawled out, bloody, bruised, but unbroken. Every scar on my body is a receipt, proof that I had the courage to jump when others froze, to act when others overthought, to bet on myself when no one else would. People talk about purpose like it's something you stumble into. No. Purpose is earned. It's forged in fire, not found in comfort. You build it by doing the terrifying things, by chasing the ideas that keep you awake at night, by stepping into rooms where your name means nothing and making it mean everything. You don't find yourself in books or podcasts or on your couch. You find yourself when your back's against the wall and the only way forward is through. So now I look at you, scrolling, searching, stuck between safety and something greater, and I'll tell you what nobody else will. You already know what you need to do. The risk you've been avoiding is the exact risk that will build you. The moment you're waiting for won't come unless you force it. This life owes you nothing. It's not about who deserves it. It's about who takes it. It's about who dares to step forward, even if their voice cracks, even if their hands shake, even if they have nothing left to lose. That's what separates the ordinary from the unforgettable. So let me ask you, when does your story begin? When do you decide that fear no longer dictates your pace? When do you realize that the cost of staying where you are is far greater than the risk of becoming who you could be? Because the clock is ticking, the world is moving, and every second you hesitate is a second lost to a man out there who's already made the leap. And when history is written, they won't mention the ones who played it safe. They'll only talk about the ones who were bold enough to risk it all, even when no one believed in them. So what will you be? A whisper in the wind or a storm they'll never forget? You already know the answer. Take the risk or be forgotten. There will come a day, and it's closer than you think, where you will stare at a mirror and see a stranger staring back, a version of you that never lived fully, that played it safe one too many times. And in that moment, fear will grip you, not because of what happened, but because of everything that didn't. That's the real nightmare, waking up too late to fix it. You'll scroll through the memories of what could have been, and they'll burn more than any failure ever could. You won't remember the times you tried and fell. You'll remember the chances you never took, and it'll eat you alive. Not instantly, but slowly. Regret doesn't scream. It whispers. It haunts. It lingers. I don't care how brave you think you are. Time is coming for you. Every second you waste thinking, planning, doubting, someone else is out there acting. He's building. He's moving. He's stacking wins while you hesitate. And the cruel part is the world rewards speed, not perfection. You wait for the perfect plan, the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, and by the time it arrives, someone else has already taken your spot. If you think you've got time, that's the biggest lie you've been sold. The man you could be is dying in every second you delay. Indecision is slow suicide. You're not staying safe. You're rotting quietly. You keep thinking, what if I fail? But the real question is, what if you never even try? What if your name never gets spoken because you never made a move? What if you live a full life and no one even remembers you were here? That should terrify you. That should keep you awake. Being forgotten is not painless. It's the ultimate insult to your existence. You were built for more, but you chose less. You traded immortality for comfort. And one day, when your body's old and your options are gone, you'll wish you could go back and risk everything. But by then, it's too late. You don't get second chances in the game of legacy. Fear is not your enemy. Complacency is. Everyone's afraid. I've been afraid of losing, afraid of looking stupid, afraid of ending up with nothing. But the difference is I moved anyway. I took the shot. I stepped into the fire because I realized early on, no one's coming to save me. No mentor, no angel investor, no lucky break. The only rescue mission was the one I launched for myself. I became the man who acted when it was risky, who stood tall when it was uncomfortable, who walked through doors before he knew what was on the other side. And every time I did, I carved a place for myself in a world designed to ignore the weak. There are men out there less talented than you, less intelligent than you, less disciplined than you, but they're winning because they moved while you were thinking. They seized the day while you rehearsed your speech, and now they live the life you dream of because they took the risk you keep avoiding. That's the pain nobody talks about. The pain of watching someone else live your destiny because you couldn't stomach the uncertainty. You keep searching for signs. Here's your sign. If you're still breathing, it means you still have time, but not much. Every second that passes is another opportunity gone forever. Not paused, not delayed, gone, never to be recovered. And if that doesn't scare you, you're not awake yet. This isn't a game. This is your one shot at building a name, a legacy, a life that outlives your heartbeat. And yet you scroll, you wish, you fantasize while others act, build, and win. You'll never catch them playing it safe. Winners don't wait for certainty. They create it. They jump and build wings on the way down. That's the only way up. Let me make this crystal clear. You are either remembered or you are irrelevant. There is no middle. No participation trophy for existing. The world will either quote you or forget you, and the difference between the two is simple. Risk. The man who risks everything becomes unstoppable. The man who hesitates becomes invisible. There's no softer truth. There's no sugar-coated version. If you want to be anything more than average, you must be willing to bet on yourself when no one else will. And don't think time will wait for you to gather courage. Time doesn't care. It moves without apology. The only question is, will you move with it or be buried by it? The man you dream of being, the one you idolize, admire, envy, he exists, but he's locked behind 1,000 uncomfortable decisions. You don't get to meet him by playing it safe. You have to bleed for him, sacrifice for him, risk it all for him. And when you do, something terrifying and beautiful happens. You become unforgettable. So if there's any part of you that still dreams of more, stop waiting. Stop doubting. Stop hiding behind logic and pretending caution is strategy. It's fear in disguise. Burn the fallback plan, cut the safety rope, stand up and say, if I go down, I'll go down swinging. Because if you don't, you'll live a life so quiet, so small, so tragically average that when you're gone, the world won't even flinch. No legacy, no impact, no echo. Every man alive is given the same currency, time. But what separates the great from the ghosts is what they do with it. You keep saying you're waiting for the right moment. What are you waiting for? Some divine sign? The truth is, the right moment is every moment you're still breathing. Every tick of the clock is a warning. Every sunrise is not just a gift, it's a countdown. You don't have forever. And yet you act like your tomorrow is guaranteed. It's not. You think you're playing it smart by playing it safe, but all you're doing is running out the clock in silence. The man who risks it all wins because he's the only one brave enough to try. You've been trained to avoid danger, to settle for good enough. to treat fear as a stop sign instead of fuel. But I'm telling you right now, if fear doesn't push you, it will paralyze you. You either rise with it or rot underneath it. Nobody's coming to make your dreams real. No one is losing sleep over your wasted potential. The world doesn't care if you never become who you could have been, but you will. Deep down in those quiet moments when the noise dies and the truth creeps in, you'll feel the weight of knowing you could have had more. The sting of seeing others live loud while you remained silent. And that pain will be unbearable because it will be yours. But here's the twist. You're still in the game right now. You still have time to flip the script. The risk you're avoiding today is the very bridge to the life you keep dreaming about. There is no comfort in greatness. There's no safety in legacy. You want to build something worth remembering? You have to step into the fire willingly. With nothing guaranteed, no applause, no certainty, just raw belief that you are built for this. And let me tell you something most people don't have the balls to admit. You already know what you have to do. You're not lost. You're just scared. Scared that if you try and fail, it'll hurt more than doing nothing. But that's the lie. Doing nothing hurts forever. There are men out there risking it all with less than what you have. They're not smarter, they're not better, they're just bolder. And boldness wins in this world. Not the man who waits, not the man who hesitates. The man who moves with fire in his chest and no backup plan is the one who builds empires. You keep saying one day, that's loser talk. One day is the vocabulary of the forgotten. Winners don't plan forever. They adapt, they dominate. You either chase what you want like your life depends on it, or you stay on your knees wondering why nothing changes. You want power? Then earn it. You want freedom? Then fight for it. You want respect? Then command it through action. There's no handout, no elevator, no cheat code. You must become so undeniable that the world cannot ignore you, even if it tries. That doesn't happen with wishes. It happens with war. You must wake up and go to war with your own weakness, with your fear, with your excuses. Your comfort zone is a death trap dressed in softness. It feels warm while it slowly kills every dream you've ever had. And you know it, you felt it, that silent decay inside, that creeping dissatisfaction that no amount of scrolling or distractions can fix. That's your soul begging you to wake up. I don't care where you come from, what you've done, or how much you've failed. None of that matters if you decide to risk it now, because the moment you act, the world changes. The moment you take that leap, you flip the script. You go from average to dangerous. You go from hidden to remembered. And it all starts with one moment of courage. 1 second where you say, I'm all in. No fallback, no fear, no hesitation, just pure hunger. That's the birth of legacy. That's the beginning of a man who will never be forgotten. You need to understand that success isn't complicated. It's just expensive. And the price is comfort. Are you willing to pay that? Are you willing to bleed? Because if not, you don't deserve the life you keep fantasizing about. This isn't meant to be easy. It's meant to test you. And every test is an invitation to rise. But only if you're willing to gamble everything for something greater. The safe road leads to a silent grave. The risky road? That's where the kings are made. And make no mistake, you are born to be a king. You just have to act like it, fight like it, move like it. There are no sidelines in life. You're either in the arena or you're watching someone else win. The pain of trying will never compare to the torture of what if. Don't live like a shadow. Don't die like a ghost. Rise now. Risk it all. Burn the old version of yourself to the ground if you have to, because buried inside that fire is the real you. The one who refuses to be average, who refuses to settle, who refuses to be forgotten. This is the moment. Right now. Not later, not tomorrow, not when you're ready. The illusion of readiness is the first lie failure whispers in your ear. No one who ever became great was ready. They became ready through action. They stepped into the storm unprepared, uncomfortable, unqualified, and they fought their way into becoming someone who couldn't be ignored. You want to know the truth? The greatest risk is the one you're avoiding, the one that haunts you, the one that lives in the back of your mind and whispers at 3 a.m., what if? That risk, the one you keep pushing away, is the only thing standing between the life you have and the legacy you crave. And if you don't take it now, you'll spend the rest of your life haunted by the echo of a man you never became. You've heard enough speeches. You've watched enough videos. You've fantasized about the breakthrough, the glow up, the power. But when do you stop consuming motivation and start becoming the one who gives it? When does the boy become the warrior? When does the man rise and say, enough, I will not waste another second? Stop telling yourself you need more time. Time is not your friend. It's a silent thief. It doesn't knock. It doesn't warn. It just takes. And while you wait for someday, time is erasing you, one silent hour at a time, until you vanish, until you become one of the many who lived soft and died silent. Take the risk or be forgotten. That is not a slogan. That is the law. Do you think the world will hand you greatness? Do you believe success will be delivered neatly to your door because you want it bad enough? That's not how it works. You are either grinding when it's painful or you're losing when it's easy. You're either breaking the limits inside you or you're watching someone else rewrite history. You can't fake war. You can't shortcut legacy. You either step into it raw, exposed, vulnerable, or you never step at all. The man who waits for perfect conditions dies in perfect mediocrity. Stop rehearsing. Life is not a rehearsal. This is the one shot, and you are either pulling the trigger or you're watching your dreams bleed out. You see, you want to be remembered. Then act like it. Act like your last name deserves to mean something. Act like your bloodline has purpose. Stop walking like a ghost through your own life. Stand the hell up. The pain of discipline is nothing compared to the pain of regret. You'll survive every failure, but you will not survive a life of what ifs. You will drown in it, slowly, silently. So what if it's hard? So what if you lose? So what if you fall flat? At least you tried. At least you moved. At least you earned your scars instead of avoiding the battlefield altogether. And in that fight, even in failure, you gain something no coward will ever understand. Respect for yourself. You've been comfortable for too long, and comfort is a silent killer. It robs you of urgency. It numbs your ambition. You start trading hours for entertainment, trading dreams for distractions, trading the throne for a pillow. But deep down, you know you were built for more. You feel it in your chest, in your bones, in that fire that refuses to die no matter how many excuses you try to suffocate it with. That fire is still alive. It's waiting for you to stop playing small. It's waiting for you to risk being seen, to risk being judged, to risk being great. What you need is not another opportunity. You don't need luck. You need a decision. You need to wake up tomorrow and declare war on every part of you that is weak, soft, scared. That version of you must die today. Not gradually, not someday, now. Because men who wait rot, and men who move rise. The throne doesn't go to the man who talks the loudest. It goes to the man who moves first. You either rise or you rot. There is no middle ground. There is no safe path to power. Power is earned in the trenches. And the trenches are filled with men who chose risk over routine. You're not like them. You were not born to blend in. You were not built to exist in silence. You were designed to be dangerous, to dominate, to conquer. But none of that happens without risk. And if you can't take the leap now, then admit to yourself you never wanted it. Because men who want it, go get it. They don't talk, they don't ask, they don't wait, they act. And they keep acting until the world moves or breaks beneath their footstep. That's the only language reality understands. Force. Consistent, relentless, unapologetic force.